It is Vampire Month, which means we watch our customary Vampire Month movie.
We're kind of in this weird place right now where we've kind of cleared out the, the go-tos.
And now we're just like, what's on Netflix?
Yeah, that's what we did. We sat there, we typed vampire into Netflix.
And then we were like, none of these are good. And then we typed vampire into Amazon Prime. And we settled on Priest, which is on both, in case you're wondering. So I vaguely remember this movie coming out, and I think I had wanted to see it at the time, and I just didn't get a chance to see it, then I forgot about it. But it has some people that we all know and love, like Karl Urban and Paul Bettany, who's the main character.
Yeah, that's the reason we watched it.
Yeah. It was a surprising movie. We surprisingly enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun. Like, this movie is not serious, it's not like a masterpiece, but it is like your popcorn flick. It's silly, but it's enjoyable.
It's got your action, it's got your tense moments, it's got over-the-top camp sometimes, but it's great.
Oh, so much camp. The movie starts, and it's like a Western. And we're like, oh!
This is new.
This was unexpected. And then it cuts to, now we're in like a cyberpunk dystopia. And it's just like whiplash.
And it's so weird because, like, the way the society works is you've got, like, these priests who were, like, a divine holy order who were, like, capable of, like, fighting the vampires because they had, like, killer reflexes.
Superhuman strength.
And all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so there was a war against the vampires and there's only a couple of priests left. But the city is, like, a city of eternal night.
Because they've polluted.
Like, just that, like, square kilometer or so.
Like, there was a cool shot where when the main character, they just call him Priest, leaves the city and he like clears the end of the pollution cloud and it's day.
And you're like,
oh.
But if we're worried about vampires, wouldn't we be solving our pollution problem?
But remember, so this city is very much controlled by the Catholic Church. Vampires don't exist anymore. We killed all the vampires. Vampires are gone. Why would we have to worry about the night if there are no vampires? Because guess what? We killed them.
And you're just like, sure you did.
And the main character, I guess we'll just call him Paul.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Is like, no, they're probably out there, man. We literally have vampire populations living in like slums.
Maybe? They call them reservations,
yes.
too, and you're like, oh.
So the movie begins when Paul's brother, who lives out in the outskirts in the wildlands, his house is attacked by a horde of vampires. They kidnap his daughter. And so the sheriff of the town comes into the big city to find Paul and be like, hey, your brother's dying and his daughter is gone and you need to help me go find her. And Paul's brother is played by Vampire Bill from True Blood.
Yeah.
Then the sheriff and Paul go off on this quest to try and figure out where the vampires are, what their plan is, and what they're gonna do, and where is the girl.
But Paul runs into some issues because the church is like, no, vampires don't exist, and if you step 1 foot outside this city, you're going to be excommunicated. And Paul's like, well, fucking bye.
Take all the other priests out of retirement and send them after him because he has turned against the church and you have to like take him out.
And you're just like, oh, okay. And all the other priests, you find out later, like they've been having a shitty time since they were back from the war, and like the one girl, she was like, the only job I could get was as a waste disposal person, and yep. So off Paul goes with the sheriff, and he's like the old hand teaching the young buck how to shoot and kill vampires as they kind of follow the trail of this vampire horde. Not a lot happens in the middle.
So all you really need to know is that the vampires are on this train. There is a train that is heading directly to the city, and on said train are the vampires, the girl, and Karl Urban. Karl Urban, bless his heart, is just hamming it up in this role where he is this like human vampire hybrid creature thing. Because, vampires are like hive minds. You have like a queen and she has her drones, and it's kind of implied that when a vampire eats a person, they just kind of like become like a familiar slave thing. Like, they
Yeah.
drain the one guy and then it's like, send him with the others to, like, work. But when our boy Karl Urban got trapped in a vampire hive, the queen got to him and, like, made him hers, and he became the first vampire-human hybrid. And it's like, cool.
And you're like, I wish we had built up to this more.
This feels kind of like out of left field. Like, you spent this entire thing being like, we don't know where the vampires come from.
And
They're
then
not human.
And you're like, but what's the point of a human vampire hybrid anyways?
And if it's just because he can go out in the sun, maybe we should have been making more of these.
Use
your resources.
What we're saying is we're ready to go in and do a full audit of the vampire system here. Like,
Yes.
And you've been doing what with your time?
So the vampires, I really liked them.
Yeah.
They're monsters. It's not like sexy vampires. They kind of look like tick maggot things.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of creepy looking.
Like, they've got no eyes and they're just like big gaping mouths.
And there was like this offhand line where the church is like, yes, because the eyes are the window to the soul, and vampires have no eyes, therefore they have no soul. And I'm like, kind of works.
Okay, alright, I can see A, B, and C. Alright, off Paul goes and he's hunting the vampires. He ends up in a vampire hive, which is cool because it's like a termite mound. Made of spit and excrement and fun stuff. And he is eventually caught up to by one of the priests, who is a girl who has a crush on him, and, you know, she keeps his secrets, and you find out that one of his secrets is that his niece is actually his daughter, because he was chosen late in life to be a priest, so he ended up having a kid before he went off.
The moment the female priest shows up, we became very stressed.
We're like, oh no, this girl, she's got like 2 scenes left. She's gonna die.
She's gonna die. But surprise, surprise, she makes it. She makes it to the end of the movie, and the 3, like, male priests that she, like, left with, they're the ones who get, like, murdered. It was like,
what the hell, man? What year is this?
And so then we finally get to the end, and it's like, okay, she's gonna sacrifice herself or whatever to save everybody, and she does the thing we thought she was gonna do, but she doesn't die.
Yeah, she's like, no, I got an escape plan. Are you kidding me?
It was it was satisfying.
It was really good. We were like, I think that was the best part of the movie, is she, like, survives, and we're like, oh my god.
This can happen?
And she's not even white.
Highlights of this movie, the scene where Karl Urban directs the violence to classical music, which just, it's beautiful. It's over the top. I love it. This movie is a silly movie.
It's really silly. Like, they just kind of, like, took a whole bunch of lore and they're like, this'll probably work.
And what's upsetting is that I'm, like, invested in this world. I want to know more about this world. I want to know how this world ended up this way. I want to know everything. I want to know who builds the confession booths.
I mean, there's a lot that they kind of just, like, brushed over where you're like, no. Tell me more.
And then we find out that this is actually based off of a Korean comic. And we're like, yes, we're gonna get our lore. This is great. We're gonna go and we're gonna read it and it's gonna be awesome. And then we find out
it was more inspired by...
It has nothing to do with the original comic. The original comic is more like 12 angels descend from heaven to, like, play God amongst the humans, and it just goes to hell. And then you have the main character who actually has a name, Ivan Isaacs, which is harder to say than you think it would be, and he's going and he's trying to get his redemption for accidentally releasing the big bad. And I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm down for more kind of fantasy, demon-y westerns.
But, like, it's not the one that you were sold on.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're looking for, like, just, like, a fun watch and you want some vampires, not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised.
Netflix, Amazon Prime. Yeah, so give it a watch. And if you've seen this movie, if you remember when it came out, let us know what you thought. Bye, guys.